Alright, so today's story time is definitely one that I've been waiting to tell for a long time. I kind of forgot about it for a while. Like, I went like a couple years without thinking about this. And then today I was sitting here, I'm like, what video should I make today? And then it just hit me. I'm like, oh shit, I haven't told that one yet. So I hope you guys enjoy the story time. If you do, please leave a like on the video. It's definitely a crazy one. And let's jump right into it. So today's the story time of the time that I got a little bit too, up there, if you know what I'm saying. If you don't, I'm going to tell you about it. So today's story time all starts off as a normal day in 2016. Now in 2016, I was having a great year. 2016 was a good year for a lot of people, but for me specifically, it was a really awesome year. And I was really enjoying my time, right? I had a lot of friends, had a girlfriend at the time. Things were going great. And then one of my friends came home to visit from college. Let's just call this friend Brian, okay? Brian comes home from college, and he hits me up one day. He calls me, and I answer my phone. He's like, yo, man, I'm home. We hanging out or what? And I was like, oh, shit, dude, of course. He's like, all right, awesome, man. I'm having a coming home party today, so come to my house at like 6 p.m. And I was like, all right, man, sounds good. Now, at this point, I'm stoked. I'm like, yo, Brian's coming home. I haven't seen this dude in forever. He's literally one of my best friends. I was so excited to see him. But there's one thing about Brian that I forgot to mention. Whenever Brian would come home and I would see him, he would always get me way too fucked up in some way or another. And it'd usually be from smoking. He'd always make me smoke with him, and at this time I wasn't really smoking much, so whenever I would smoke weed with him, he would just get me uncomfortably high, and I'd always let him. I mean, at the end of the day, it was my fault for smoking, but like, whenever he would come home, it would always happen, and I didn't want that to happen this time. So I told myself, before I go to this party tonight, I'm not smoking any weed, I'm not doing anything whatsoever, because I'll just get way too high, and I'm just trying to enjoy my party with my friends. So fast forward to 6 p.m., I go to Brian's house, I pull up, I go inside. Brian immediately, I shit you not, immediately walks up to me holding the giant blunt. He's like, yo, Austin, I've missed you so much, man. He gives me a huge hug. And then after that, he's like, yo, can you hold this real quick? And he hands me his fucking giant lit blunt. He's like, I'm gonna go grab a drink, I'll be right back. And I'm just holding this thing while it's lit, and one of my friends looks at me and goes, you gonna hit it? And I was like, all right, whatever. So I take 2 hits of it. I already broke my promise for the night of not smoking. And then after that, everything with me just went downhill. I just kept hitting it. And before I knew it, he came back with his drink to get the blunt back. And the blunt was like pretty much gone. Now, like I said earlier, I wasn't really smoking too much in 2016. So I had no tolerance built up whatsoever. So after I finished off that blunt, I was feeling it, you could say. A little bit too much. And Brian was laughing his ass off at me. He's like, yo, your eyes look like fucking ketchup, bro. I'm like, did you just call my eyes ketchup? He's like, dude, they're so red. I was like, did I just hear that correctly? And he starts laughing even harder. And then I start laughing. And we hysterically start laughing together. And I fall on the floor laughing because, needless to say, I was fucked up. So fast forward like 30 minutes later, me, Brian, and the rest of the party are in Brian's living room listening to music. And everyone's just kind of hanging out. And of course, Brian lights up another blunt, and I smoked it with him for whatever reason. And after that one, I was too high. Like, uncomfortably high. Like, I could feel my heart beating out of my chest. I was so anxious. And at this point, I'm starting to have a little bit of a panic attack. I'm like, okay, maybe I should chill out. Maybe I should like go outside and get some air. So I did. I stood up. I told Brian I'd be right back. I'm going to go on the porch and get some air because I was too high. He's like, oh, I get it, man. Like, I'm going to come with you outside. So me and Brian go outside together by ourselves. We sit down on his porch steps, and he's just telling me to like breathe and do breathing exercises and trying to calm me down. It wasn't Brian's fault that I was too messed up. It was literally all mine. And he's like, listen, dude, I get it. I've been here before. Like, just breathe in for a few seconds, hold it for a few seconds, breathe out, like do some exercises. It'll help you, I promise. And I was like, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Like, I'm really glad you're here. He's like, dude, me too. And then he goes, you want to go for a walk or something? It'll probably calm you down. I was like, honestly, man, yeah, that sounds great. So me and Brian get up and we start walking down his street, just kind of talking, catching up because we haven't seen each other in a long time. And we end up walking for a very long time. Like at one point I wondered where we were going and he wouldn't tell me. And after like 25 minutes of walking, we end up at this abandoned building like a mile away from his house. And I was like, yo, what are we doing here? He's like, oh, this is my favorite spot, man. I thought I would take you to it and show you it since you like abandoned buildings, right? And at the time, I did. I was like, yeah, man, I love exploring these things. He's like, bet, let's go inside. I'll show you around. So he takes me into this building. It's this super, super tall, abandoned building that I don't know what it used to be. And he's like, yeah, man, it used to be offices. I was like, oh, whose offices? And he tells me the business name, and I immediately recognized it. It belonged to like this cleaning company back in the day. And he's just giving me the tour of it. He's showing me every floor. He's showing me all the offices. He's showing me old papers that are scattered all over the ground that belong to the business. He's just kind of giving me the tour of this abandoned building. And I start getting a little bit worried. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Is there like security cameras or like cops that patrol around here? He's like, no, man, I've been in this building probably 100 times. Like, I've never been caught. No one monitors it. Like, you're good. I was like, all right, cool. So we end up going all the way up to the roof. We get to the roof of the building, and we sit on the edge of the building on the roof and just overlook the city. And it looks so fucking dope. I was like, this is the coolest view I've probably ever seen. Now, I can't lie, it wasn't that cool. I was just really, really, really fucked up. But at the time, it looked really awesome. And Brian's like, yeah, man, I know, right? Isn't it beautiful? I was like, yeah, man, it is. He's like, so how's your panic attack going? Feeling better? I was like, yeah, man, honestly, like, this walk helped me a lot. He's like, I told you, man. I was like, thank you, bro. And then right after I say that, right after I thank him for calming me down, I see a fucking police siren flick on a car below, and it pulls up to the building. And Brian goes, fuck, we gotta run right now. And I jump up with him and we start running. And I'm like, dude, I thought that there's no cops around this area. He's like, yeah, man, I thought so too. This is the first time. So we run all the way to the stairs and we start going down the stairs to get to the first floor. But it was too late. The cop was already in the building, coming up the stairs towards the roof. He must have saw us up there. And I see his flashlight coming up the stairwell, and we have no choice but to turn around and run back up the stairs, because any minute we're going to be met face to face with this cop if we keep going down the stairs. So we run back up to the roof, and at this point, we're just fucked. We have two choices. We either stay on the roof and hide on the roof behind some boxes or behind the door of the stairwell, or like just up there in plain sight, or actually that's it. We only had one choice. Because the only other choice would be to jump off the roof and hope that we don't break all the bones in our body or die. So yeah, we had one choice, and that was hide on the roof. So yeah, we ran back upstairs to the roof, and I hid behind a bunch of boxes that were up there. I don't know why they were up there. And my friend Brian hid behind the door that you would open when you went up the stairs. So he was literally right behind the door that the cop was about to come through. And a few minutes later, the police officer walks up to the roof. He opens up that door. It swings open. Brian's right behind it. I'm behind these boxes. And the cop just stops, does a 360 with his flashlight, and looks around the roof real quick with the flashlight. He shines it right on my boxes that I was behind. He shines it all around the roof, but he doesn't walk towards anything. Like, he just stood in place and shined his light all over the place, but didn't walk anywhere. And after that, he doesn't see anything, so he just turns around and walks back down the stairs. He didn't even come looking for us at all. He just kind of shined his light around real quick and then turned around and walked back downstairs, back down towards the other floors of the building. And as soon as that door closed, my friend ran over to me and gave me the biggest hug ever. Like, Brian hugged me so fucking hard. He's like, dude, holy shit, that was insane. I was like, oh my fucking, holy shit, dude. Like, my heart is flying. He's like, dude, we gotta get out of here. I was like, hold on, let's wait till the cop leaves first. And we had to sit on that roof for like 30 minutes until the cop got done looking through all the building floors and then went back to his car and drove off. And when he drove off, I let out the biggest sigh of relief ever. And me and my friend ran down those stairs as fast as we could, back down to the first floor and out the exit door and to safety. And we ran back to his house so fast, back to the party. And everyone was so confused. Like, where'd you guys go? Like, you were gone for like an hour. And we're like, long story, guys. So yeah, in the end, after that, we just kind of continued the party and had a good time. I came down a lot at that point and wasn't feeling so anxious. And in the end, everything was fine. Definitely learned a lot of lessons going through that. It was an interesting learning experience. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today's story time. I thought it was a really crazy one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
Like, what's up? They leave me out for the dead, and now they know they're